You know what I just thought of?
No idea.
I know I'm that way. I'm pretty unpredictable.
Could go anywhere.
It could. It's true.
What did you just think of?
We're 21.
We're 21.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's like we've come of age.
Oh, really?
It kind of reminds me of No Way Home. You know, the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it's pretty good.
It's kind of like he came of age with, you know, Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Oh,
kind of. It was a coming of age because now I'm not being facetious. I think because of the trauma that he went through.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give a spoiler away yet. There'll probably be spoilers.
Oh,
later.
That's a guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure, right? But you know, I was thinking about that and how we're 21.
Yeah, we're 21.
You don't understand what that means yet, and I'll get to it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So we've come of age.
I'm there.
Reminded me of Tom Holland's Spider-Man coming of age in this new film.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you see, the way I was looking at it was the other films that he did were more fun. There was no real trauma. It was real jokey, you know.
Well,
right?
Well, he evaporated. Now
but
here's Far From Home. He was dealing with Iron Man or Tony Stark's death.
Sure, but it was not like this one.
That's true.
Not like how this
one was
hit,
constant
right?
trauma.
Yeah. And so I feel like he matured because
he had to.
At the end of the film, it showed maturity.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not going to give that away yet either.
Not yet. It's coming. Spoiler.
So if you're listening and watching, be aware there are going to be spoilers. Look, I've told you this before on another podcast that we did. I did everything I could to avoid seeing anything about this film.
Oh my gosh.
It was hard.
It was incredibly hard.
It's everywhere.
Is the one I had to do a social media blackout because
movies. The average person can be inspired by them. They can make us laugh. Movies can keep us on the edge of our seat and so much more. Maddie's Movie Mix is a podcast for movie enthusiasts of all kinds. We hope you enjoy the show.
Wait. Matt Logan!
Yes, we both have the same problem. You.
Listen. You smell something?
Yippee-ki-yay. This is Tyler Peterson. I love superheroes. I love DC. I love Marvel. I love Spider-Man. I love whatever. And so
you shouldn't love DC. DC sucks.
You can shut your face. What do you think, audience?
Right?
Batman's okay. That's a whole. Batman is my favorite. He is my favorite superhero ever.
All right.
And you can fight.
I won't be so hyperbolic about it.
I don't even know where I was going. Anyway, I know where I was. I love, and so the algorithm was feeding to me that you should get all of the spoilers for this because I loved the original trilogy with Sam Raimi. Didn't necessarily like Andrew Garfield's as much. He just wasn't as. I need to rewatch them because I really liked him in this movie. Spoiler, shoot.
Everybody knows he's in it.
That's true.
I mean, it's all
no
over
matter how much he tried denying it.
I knew he was in it, and I've really done everything to avoid it. I didn't look at any reviews. I didn't even watch the trailer.
Oh, I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when I saw Doc Ock, I about lost my mind.
Yeah.
I was so excited, and I shouldn't have watched anything after that. But it was one of those things I just want it now.
I know. This was hard for me to wait this long to watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was really difficult, but you know the timing is what it is, and I have a job, you have a job, we gotta our responsibilities.
I had to watch it with my wife, so I had to work around her schedule too, and we have very opposite schedules.
Yeah,
but so I ended up watching a week after it came out.
Okay,
so I didn't have to wait too long because I knew I had coworkers, I had people that I wanted to have conversations about this, and likewise, they want to have conversations with me. So I knew I had to watch it so I could have those conversations and not get questioned about something I didn't know about yet.
Yeah, and then it'd be like, you sucker.
So I watched it a week ago, but I mean, you just watched it, right?
I just watched it today.
Yeah.
In a snowstorm.
Impressive.
It's impressive.
It's the only way to watch a movie in Minnesota is through a snowstorm.
I was like, we got to do this, right? I'm not. That's not really true. I was like, should we do this?
Yeah.
But then I'm very happy that
I've watched it twice.
Have you really?
Yeah.
See, I think in order for me,
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Everything and really do a good review, I'm gonna have to probably go to that point.
Well, I think,
and maybe even back to back, like
I think something specifically with this one is that it isn't just a standalone movie, and so there are hundreds of Easter eggs,
the layers, the story arcs.
I mean, you get the whole Marvel movie. I mean, this is gonna be a spoiler. I was watching the Hawkeye series too.
Okay.
And spoiler if you're watching that.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! See, I haven't seen any of
this. This is completely different from movies, so we can spoil the heck out of TV shows because clearly, I don't know. But so I watched the TV show and Kingpin showed up, and it was the same actor from the Netflix series. And there were, again, me being like super like just excited about all the hype that was going into this. They were analyzing as Matt Murdock, the lawyer. And so they never showed anything, so anything was up. So I didn't know for certain. But when he showed up, I was so happy.
I was too. It was great. Back to 21.
We're 21.
We should probably I should have thought about this since we're of age now. We should have had a toast.
We should have.
I screwed that up.
You really did. I had no idea that I was coming of age today.
Maybe we could squeeze one of those in.
Okay.
We could have a toast.
When are we toasting to? Oh, coming of age.
Coming of age, yeah. We can legally, it's legal now. So we're 21.
Yeah.
Clearly, I look 21
I mean,
today.
You're much younger than I am.
This is our 21st episode. Can you believe it?
Oh, my gosh. There's the connection.
Yep. My brain's so weird. I understand how weird my brain is.
4 more episodes, we can rent cars.
Yes, there you go. We were talking about cars off camera.
The world's our oyster. We should probably talk about the movie, though, shouldn't we?
Let me say this very clearly. It's going to be hard for us, if you're listening right now, watching right now. It's going to be very difficult for me anyway. Maybe not the brilliant mind of Tyler. But this is going to be very difficult for me to not give away spoilers. But what's really difficult for me, I'm going to probably not remind you that this is a spoiler. So just be aware, this is my blanket spoiler alert right now.
Maybe we should just spoil everything now. And then anything that happens afterwards, we don't even have to worry because they are already aware of the spoilers.
That's so true. Let me, before that whole mess of spoilers and not catching them happens, I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're of age.
Yes. Our minds are starting to go downhill.
That's right.
Thank you. We were talking about some of the comments, the listeners.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some comments, some people write me directly. Thank you for those comments. Thank you for helping us grow and get better. And you know, that's what we're here for you. That's not true. We're not here for you. We're having a blast.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
We can go to party at colleges now.
Exactly. No, but we really appreciate that. I appreciate it. I know that some of you who have sent me the comments, we know each other personally. Some of you have sent me comments that I don't know, and we really appreciate all of them. We want you to be involved. So
keep
thank
them
you.
Coming. We love hearing it.
Absolutely. I want to talk about how many billions this movie has made.
A ton.
As of when I looked it up today. It is the 14th
of January.
Yes,
2022
of January.
We'll do the full timestamp.
1.547 billion is what I found.
Insane.
$200 million budget, money well spent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The other thing, yeah. Well, not just money well spent from an entertainment.
Executed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story arcs that they brought into this film. I was concerned about that.
Well, that's the thing is, how many people did they bring in? And they're not just your subpar actor of like, they did the movie and they haven't really done anything. Willem Dafoe is phenomenal.
This was probably his best.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm getting like goosebumps talking about it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's cold in here. I had one of the two.
Oh, it's all intertangled.
I was really concerned. I'm like, how are they going to do this? We've talked about how Joss Whedon, like him or don't like him, whether he's in trouble or not in trouble. I mean, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But that's not the point.
He can bring a cast together.
He brings a cast together very, very well, in my opinion. We've talked about that before. And so I'm looking at this. I'm like,
It's not, I mean, Joss Whedon wasn't the director.
He wasn't. And so I'm looking at this. Are they going to figure this out? Is it going to be like clunky? And
the bar was set so high.
Super high. Here's what I thought after the movie ended. One of the very first thoughts I had was it was extremely foolish for them to release Black Widow, Hawkeye, and all these before a film like this. With that said, I understand that they needed to release Black Widow, in these others. But if they would have led with this,
the hype would have just.
I want to watch. I want to watch Hawkeye now.
Yeah.
I want to watch Black Widow again. I watched it once, like reluctantly.
Yeah.
But I'll get so much more out of it. I want to watch Winter Soldier. What's that? There's another one.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that. I'm like, I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
No.
Before. Now watching.
Have you seen WandaVision?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
WandaVision is phenomenal.
And I've heard people talk about it, and I'm like, whatever. It's
cinematically. Okay, this is a whole different story. Cinematically, WandaVision does something so crazy that I would be very interested to see what you thought, because each episode is so different.
I've heard that. Yeah. So after watching Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm back in the Marvel universe.
That's right.
As reluctantly as I was.
Still probably won't watch Eternals again though.
Or Eternals? I spaced that one right out. Is that
Is that pun intended?
No, it wasn't, but it worked. Yeah, so if they would have done, and we did talk about Eternals, that was a poor launch.
Yep.
But this was, for me, I was reluctant, and as I said, because of the story arcs that they had to bring together, I was reluctant because of Eternals to go watch this.
Right.
I was like, "There's no way this is gonna be terrible."
Yeah.
I'm not really super interested, but I'm sold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all in.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna buy
even
Marvel
the post
stock.
Like, we got Doctor Strange and the multiverse.
Yeah.
It'd be super intriguing to get into.
So I gave you my vomit on that whole thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where were you at? What was your excitement? And
so this movie was probably the one I was most excited for. Especially, I did watch the trailer, and once I saw Alfred Molina coming back as Doc Ock, I was like, they're going to do something again, it's either going to be absolutely phenomenal or not well put together. I did not have much hope for the middle ground, and I think the middle ground would be just as disappointing as it being bad.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't 100% sure, because with him coming back, that brought into the realm of what other characters could they bring back. So, I mean, you now have, in the movie, you ended up getting Green Goblin, probably my favorite villain, top 3 villains of all time.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is such a phenomenal villain character, and he doesn't have to try. I know he's super nice. All the interviews I've seen, he's like a super nice actor. He's Swedish.
He's so underrated.
Yeah.
I guess how you should probably put it, in my opinion, as an actor. He's so underrated.
Agreed. So I 100%. And he was in a Dog Stud movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forget what it's called. It was so good.
I didn't see it.
Well, if you have Disney Plus now, because we're going to watch all these other Disney films, 100% recommend.
Okay.
The weirdest
I know what
part,
you're talking about.
The weirdest part was that he was a good guy. Because he plays such a good villain.
He's a
brilliant actor. But I always had the twitch of like, he's a villain character.
Yeah.
And so him being a good guy was weird. So yeah, I think he was incredibly underrated. Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro. I mean, his portrayal in
let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
Do you think Jamie Foxx as the actor, do you think he brought anything because he's Jamie Foxx to this? Or do you think...
I think what he was able to bring back, because I think he didn't like how his character was cast in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And he wanted to have, a second chance to redeem the character and what it should have been. Which I think brought more...
So the involvement in... Sure.
He was more excited, more... Yeah. So I think that's what it really brought, because I think there were a lot of questions in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 of his portrayal. A lot of it not being his choice, I don't think. But now he's able to be, an actual physical character that's not just a blue man. So I don't know. I was super excited for this movie.
I didn't think for him... His character was great. He did a great job. I just don't know if Jamie Foxx, if he really brought
I think
he could have. I don't mean this as disrespect either, but he could have easily been replaced.
Yeah, he could have been.
In my opinion. Yeah. In this particular, I mean, it was great they got him. Yeah. I think.
Well, I mean, you think about the movie, your first thought is never going to be Jamie Foxx.
No, right? But Green Goblin, they could have never had a different actor. No. Never.
And so that's the other thing. I love Tobey Maguire. Out of all three Spider-Mans, he is my favorite. Tom Holland is great. Andrew Garfield, again, in this movie, redeemed. I thought he was so much better and believable as a Spider-Man character than what he was in The Amazing Spider-Man. But Tobey Maguire is my favorite, so I was super excited to see him come back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Again, I was all hyped up for this movie, and I was not disappointed.
Hard to be disappointed in this one.
Yeah. Do you want to know some fun facts?
Yes.
Real quick?
Yes.
So there were some fun license plate Easter eggs. Did you catch any of those?
I didn't. I was thinking that, in the film, I'm like, I know I'm missing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glued, right? Yeah. But I'm like, I know I'm missing.
There's so many small things.
Yeah.
So 2 license plates of notice. There was one where the who was it? The vice dean, where they were trying to convince to get into MIT.
Yes.
So the license plate that was on theirs was 63 ASM-3.
Okay.
Which represented The Amazing Spider-Man number 3, which came out in 1963. And guess what happened in that one?
Really?
Doc Ock was Doc Ock's first appearance was in that one.
Nice.
And on the taxi behind it, it had 1228, which is Stanley's birthday.
Oh.
1228, which was super cool. And then then the other one that was, I thought, pretty cool, Tom Holland helped negotiations between Disney and Sony, because Spider-Man is a Sony IP. And so Disney had to go through huge negotiations with them to
how I've heard that too.
Yeah.
How did that work? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure how it works, because Venom is still under Sony's license.
Yeah.
Not under the MCU.
Right.
But part of the negotiations with Tom Holland was that No Way Home was to take place in the MCU as well as Sony's own Spider-Man franchise. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work moving forward. I mean, you saw...
it's going to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Tom Hardy,
hopefully.
you see... Yeah. Which that's, again, Sony's...
Spoiler.
Well...
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. No, if you were going... Yeah, it's a big spoiler.
It is. But it's not a huge spoiler. It's an end credit scene.
Yeah, which is...
yeah.
don't know. I think that's pretty big.
Well, he was in Venom. So if you've watched, I guess this is.
Yeah, but that didn't. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I guess. Take as you wish. Pre-spoiler, spoiler.
Yeah, I think I would call that a spoiler.
Okay. Other spoiler, he doesn't really do much in the film.
Correct. It's an end.
It's an end credit scene.
But it sets it up.
Yeah.
I
didn't say what happens with him.
No, but I thought you were going to.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's all I was going to say was Tom Hardy was in it.
My bad.
Here's the spoiler.
Tom Hardy. I'll pay attention.
Tom Hardy goes back or bleeps again because at the end of the movie, spoiler. Let's get all these spoilers out real quick. At the end of the film, everyone forgets Spider-Man. And that means Tom Hardy goes back to his universe because that's what brought all the characters to the MCU or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But in that process, the symbiote of Venom was left crawling. And there was the actor who played the barista, I forget what they're called, the bartender. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, the bartender.
I love Ted Lasso. And the actor who plays him plays Danny Rojas in that movie.
Oh,
or
okay.
in that TV show. So
I've never seen Ted Lasso. I've heard it's really good, but
yeah, we're just on a lot of TV shows.
I guess we've got to start scoring this thing.
We do. Actor chemistry.
I'm pretty excited to hear what your score is.
Yeah, it's all. Spoiler, it's all pretty high. This movie was so good. Actor chemistry. I'm going to start off strong as a 4.7. Willem Dafoe is such a strong actor, and there were so many other villains. I mean, you have Doc Ock, you have Electro, you have Sandman, and out of all of those, Green Goblin still stood as the main villain because of how strong of an actor Willem Dafoe is, and it made a lot of sense. It wasn't like I thought he was stealing it from anyone else, but the way the story worked, the way the progression worked, the relationships worked, it was just so cool to see.
It truly was.
And I am happy they took the mask off. So
you
can see the facial expressions that he was able to bring to the table.
I agree about the mask. However, he did a good job with the mask on.
He did.
Too. Like his acting ability is good enough.
I'm happy that when he came back, he had the mask on.
Yeah.
And then they transitioned because of, his bipolar whatever disease. He just didn't have the rest of the movie. And I enjoyed that because the menacing face. That's even more menacing than
Yeah. I think so. Tom Holland is clearly, as an actor, he has clearly gotten much better.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
only grown exponentially.
Exponentially, for sure. I really enjoyed that in this film.
Yeah.
I'm like, how's this gonna, with all these other high level actors? I mean, is he gonna be nervous? He's weird in interviews.
Oh. You want to talk about spoilers?
No, right. Yeah, totally.
Don't give that man a script.
No. So I was a little concerned like he would be the odd duck.
Yeah.
Not the ugly duck.
Just the odd one.
The odd one.
Yeah.
The
one just waddling off into the pond while everyone else is going to get food.
Right. You're sharing a scene with all these. Even Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, you want to talk about coming of age. Just look at that relationship in this film. Yes, for sure. That's a good point. Which actually, I was thinking about that too. That since you bring him up, that was a little weird to me at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
He was readily available to like destroy the world because his little high school buddy.
Yeah.
Says he, I don't know. That was a little off to me.
Well,
wasn't
so there's this show or a YouTube series called How It Should Have Ended.
Oh.
Or they talk about like different endings that would have made more sense.
Sure.
Like in Lord of the Rings, they just take the eagles the whole way there and not worry about anything. So in this one, for this movie, they were like, why don't we just make everyone forget about Mysterio? Yeah. Yeah, because that would
exactly
take the whole thing out. But that would cause obviously no drama and not create a good film.
Right. But why would Doctor Strange? So was it the multiverse or not? The Spider-Man, the cartoon one.
Oh,
what one was that called?
Into the
I just lost it.
Multiverse.
Into the multiverse, or
yeah, something. Yeah, it must be Into the Multiverse.
So Kingpin is who actually created
the multiverse.
The multiverse in that.
Right.
So I found it a little weird that Doctor Strange created it in this.
Yeah. Well, the animated movie is definitely separate. So they're following different comics.
But it's like, to me though, when you're gonna disrupt the multiverse, or you're gonna be a bad guy.
Well,
that's my. You know what I'm saying?
You want to talk about spoilers?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Again, the second one that was basically a trailer. The second. So there was the one with Tom. I forget what they're called. The credit scenes. The last credit scene, which was basically a trailer that I thought was really weird, but I really liked it because I got to see more about Doctor Strange. I mean, he is. I mean, the multiverse. I forget. Mephisto, I think, is Doctor Strange's multiverse evil.
Oh, yeah.
So it is there.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it is a villainous character, which they bring, if we want to talk about TV shows again, because I have watched most of them. What if they go into Mephisto?
Oh, okay. Do they?
So,
okay.
A lot of, I don't know how canon any of that stuff is.
Sure.
But they do mention it. And it is in that end credit trailer where he does see Mephisto, who is a very bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I did hear or know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on actor chemistry. I gave it a 4.8.
Yeah. I don't
super impressed.
What's so amazing is we talk about Eternals. Crappy film.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good actors, amazing actors, couldn't bring a story to make them all work together.
Yeah.
This is the same thing, but it's completely opposite because they all work together. Some of them had history together. You got Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch. The original Spider-Man No Way Home trilogy cast together. And you got Tobey Maguire and his villain characters, and you have Andrew Garfield and his villain characters. But you're still bringing a whole lot of potential ego from those films, mashing it together, and they all worked incredibly well, and they were able to make jokes about it.
Yeah, that was good. Filming locations.
I gave it a 4.7.
Okay.
It felt like New York. I really like the Mirror Realm. I thought that was really cool. I like the joke that Peter made of like, oh, it's just math.
Yeah.
And then just started like, it's like, I wish my mind
is
functioned
geometry.
at just like a percentage of what that is. So I like that. I thought it was kind of cool with the Statue of Liberty and the Captain America shield. It made sense for the impact that, Steve Rogers had. And then that whole fight scene was really cool.
Yeah.
I like the where we first meet Electro by the electrical lines. It was barren, so you were able to get these really cool lighting scenes, which again, that's cinematography, but it's still the location that's more isolated. I like the den of Doctor Strange's. So there's just a lot to like. Again, I accepted that it was more of a made-up universe, even though it's based in technically New York, a lot of it.
Yeah. So I'll get that out, 4.9.
Yeah.
Because they did an incredible job of it not seeming like it was just New York.
Yeah.
The basement, the like you say, the electrical lines.
Yeah.
And you see that kind of stuff. So they could have been very close to New York City.
Right.
So it all made sense to me.
Yeah.
But there was several different places that they were, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So it
was all in the same vicinity too. It wasn't like in a Endgame type thing where they're going from universe to universe.
Right.
It's all within, at least New York, the state.
And that's why I was impressed with it.
Yeah.
They made it seem like not different places, but just totally different feelings of where they were at. Like, they really, the whole basement thing or the whatever they called it, I guess. But
Yeah.
Just all of it. I really, the apartment, Happy's apartment, and it was all so different, but yet in a space that wasn't very far away.
Yeah.
You could actually envision yourself like going to those places within that amount of short time.
Yeah, exactly.
It made sense. So I really liked how they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Cinematography.
I really liked how they started the movie.
Yeah.
I liked how they started off right where Far From Home ended.
Yeah.
It really establishes that not really any time has passed from film to film, which I thought was important to the storyline.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah. I liked, again, the opening scene. I loved how he was swinging with Mary Jane or MJ. Not Mary Jane, it was Michelle.
Oh
my gosh.
I lost it too.
I think it's
But
Michelle.
they went MJ, so it was Jones.
Jones Watson, which was hyphenated.
Yeah, Jones
which
Watson, but right. Gosh.
So, anyways, swinging with MJ, and then Spider-Man had to take a break as he was getting a call from Ned, and they were both freaking out. Meanwhile, MJ is just trying to stay balanced and not falling off from this huge bar or it must have been another electrical line or something.
It was a bridge, I think.
Oh, that's what it was, a bridge.
I think it was a bridge. Not positive. I can't remember.
And then immediately hangs up, goes down, goes to Happy's apartment, and then establishes it going forward. I thought that was a cool sequence of events to really get the movie started, to understand that these events just happened and it's having immediate effects. And then they do a slight progression of some time is passing, the effect that it's having with not being able to get into MIT and school. So, I mean, there's probably a semester or a school year that this film is based off of, probably a school year, September to.
Yeah, they were in school.
Yeah.
And so they were looking at admissions.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
they would have been and there was snow.
Yeah, September, March, April.
Yeah, I would say
probably the range of the film.
Yeah.
And then, boom, now we're in another stagnant period of we're figuring out the multiverse.
Right.
Which was just fun to watch, as was. And then watching the universe split, and you see people coming through. And then I really enjoyed watching the 3 Spider-Mans on that, where they were swinging off of each other. First, they didn't have the teamwork and running into each other, and then they were able to sync up and get together. And I enjoyed they did the meme. There was just so much stuff.
There really was, and when they're trying to get their mojo figured out to actually coordinate their efforts to fight the bad
guys. Who are
guys.
we focusing on?
Right.
Yeah. And
so Tom Holland's Spider-Man, also known as Peter Parker.
Number 1.
That was funny how they did that, wasn't it?
That's right.
But so he's saying, I was in the Avengers and blah, blah, blah. And Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he gets really excited, right? He's like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You were really,
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, what is that?
Right.
It was perfect to his Spider-Man's character.
Right.
Very enthusiastic to support you.
Yeah.
But didn't necessarily know what they were supporting you in. It was good.
Maguire.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a great job.
He's forever my Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just so much fun to watch.
It really was. Yeah. Yeah, it really was.
Again, the multiverse scene was super cool. I just think that's so cool when they go into the multiverse and things split.
Yeah.
Super cool to watch.
Yeah. Cinematography for me was a 4.2.
4.5.
They I don't know if I need to explain exactly. There was a few places I didn't like how J. Jonah Jameson's character had a couple of those scenes. I didn't think. I thought
I didn't like his character.
So, do you know who Alex Jones is?
Yes, because that's who he was based off of.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I did when I was doing some research because they had the vitamin pills.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's.
And that's like his studio.
Yeah.
Like Alex. And look, whether you like Alex Jones or not, and he's been labeled as a lot of things that aren't true. I was really curious, I don't know, a couple years ago probably, who he was. I heard the name before and whatever, right? And so I looked into it, and you know, what's really interesting with Alex Jones is that people that have labeled him this big conspiracy theorist, I don't like his communication style at all.
Right.
Which is clearly who, you know, Jameson is coming across as. Yeah. Super hyperbolic, super, you know, I don't like that personally.
And I had just watched Spider-Man 1 and 2, and it's the same actor that plays both, which is why I was, again, in Far From Home, super excited about that mid-credit scene because it was the same actor. I was like, this is the perfect.
Yes.
He's what I imagine. When I watched the original trilogy, if you read the comics, this is just the guy that I imagine J. Jonah Jameson is, and I loved it. But then, I think they took it too far with just how much he was just antagonistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I don't like about that is when you actually legitimately investigate Alex Jones and what his supposed conspiracy theories are.
Yeah.
He's right a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's come out even years later, like, oh well, Alex Jones was right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So with that said, I don't like how they make this character
parallel to
that because it's not
Spider-Man
actually
is
true.
Not a villain.
No, right. You know, and so I didn't really care for that. It was I don't think they're going to be able to really do that. I'm actually, I'll say it like this. I'm actually like pretty turned off by that.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the why, but I don't like how they're trying to supposedly emulate Alex Jones when it's not really accurate. What's accurate is the hyperbolicness in some of those things for sure. But it's too one-to-one.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, he should have been more of his own character.
So that's why the cinematography, I'm like, look, they stole this literally right out of Alex Jones' show.
Yeah.
Like, it's his studio, the whole pills thing.
Right.
You know, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Like Alex Jones or not, this is supposed to be...
not based on true events.
Not at all. Yeah. And it's like, So when they're filming that and, you know, I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
You know, this is, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So the way it looked to me was too much of a copy.
Yeah.
And I think that's just where it's at.
Yeah.
Not to try to be, I'm not saying anything like political or whatever, but it's like, that's a turn. I want to go there and be entertained.
It's your personal experience of how you're viewing the film. So I understand.
Yeah. And
it affected how you.
Yeah. So that was always, whenever it came on, I'm like, that was a turn off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But, I didn't like that either. All right. I just really liked his character in the original of being a news. Like, again, I understand they were trying to move with the times where we really don't have papers anymore.
No, right. Yeah. Totally.
I
get that.
Point,
yeah.
You could have done, you could have done better.
Yeah. That's a personal, to me, that's a personal vindictive way to write it.
Yeah. Passive aggressive.
Yes. Very passive aggressive. I did, however, find the humor in kind of the passive-aggressive Tobey Maguire, you know, that they said, did you bring your suit or do you just look like a cool youth pastor?
Yeah, that was super funny. Yeah.
That was really funny. That's very clever.
Well, they had so many clever words because there was even the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, he would. I know, exactly.
I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was, but.
And the other one was the meme one where Peter, and then they all point to look at each other. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Costume design.
Costume design. I like that they kept the original spider costumes for each character.
Yes.
They really helped them stand. I mean, as they're swinging, it's not like you're going to be able to tell, except Andrew Garfield is a little bit significantly taller than the rest of them. And his eyes are significantly different. So I really enjoyed that they kept the different ones. And then I also enjoyed at the end when Peter #1, Tom Holland, made his own costume that was more true to the comics of like the vibrant blues and the reds. I thought it's cool that he's separating again from the tech and discovering again, making his own decisions now that he's really by himself.
Yeah, no, I agree. Costume design. You know how I am with costume design. I do really enjoy
the red
that
superhero outfit. Is that what you're looking for?
The red dress, right? You know, in the Matrix, I say this all the time. I get it, but the Matrix pulled it off very, very well.
Yeah,
I love the woman in the red dress, not because it was the woman in the red dress, but how it was like so stand out and like right.
Yeah.
But with that said, this didn't have it.
No.
Other than I would say, you know, Jamie Foxx, I thought did a really good job when they transitioned his power.
Yeah.
You know how he was more the electrical, but then when he transitioned to the arc reactor.
Yeah.
You know,
that
his
cool.
costume changed.
Yeah.
You know, that was
and they did it in the
of
comics. The mask that Elektra wears.
Sure.
Which I didn't actually catch right away, but I saw
Oh,
pictures.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I didn't
Which
even...
was super cool.
Yeah.
It was super subtle, but it worked well.
Yeah. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
That was more standout. But they kept original stuff, even Doc Ock. I thought they... You know, Alfred. I mean, he's old.
He is old, but he looked
great.
Yeah.
And I like that they kept all the old villains' costumes.
Yeah, it still amazes me that they got all of those characters.
Oh, man,
it's insane.
Can you imagine? Like,
I can't even imagine the pitch for this thing.
Yeah. Right. So I would, what would be fun? Here's my imagination at work on this.
We're in.
So I'm thinking when I heard about all the actors who were going to be in this and stuff. So, I mean, this has been a long time coming.
Which is kind of crazy because Fire From Home isn't that old.
Right. But they stacked them.
Oh, they definitely did.
And so I was really like disappointed when it had come out that they might not be able to make this. They're not coming together.
Yeah.
Supposedly Tom Holland, whatever that means, however he did it. I just don't see him as a negotiator, but
I don't know.
Whatever, it worked. That's great. Yeah. My imagination is this. They're like, hey, let's throw a party and we're going to get all these people to come.
Yeah.
And we're going to just see how they interact, and we're gonna say, hey, look, you guys are having a good time together.
Yeah,
let's do a film. We'll pay you a lot of money.
Well, I think Willem Dafoe's character, when they were starting negotiations with him, he said that he didn't want just a cameo. That because his mentality was, if he's coming back and wants to be who he was and the villain that the Green Goblin was in the first Spider-Man, he was like, I want to have an actual role in this film. And so I mean, even just that conversation is like, well, absolutely. Like, let's figure it out. How do we get this to happen? And then it worked so well.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, how cool was it? I don't know. I love Marvel. So like, just even like thinking of like, how cool was it for some of these characters to be able to relive some of these moments?
Yeah.
That they thought they wouldn't be able to come back to.
Whatever years ago.
Well, yeah, because Spider-Man 1 was 2002.
Sure, yeah.
So it's
I thought it was 2000. Sorry. So yeah,
it was.
It's 20 years ago then.
2002, 2004, and then 2007. So how cool would it be to be able to come back to these characters? I mean, again, if you enjoyed that period, which it looked like these people really enjoyed playing those characters, and so they were able to extend something that they were able to enjoy when they were younger, get paid for it, and be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.4 costume design.
Yeah, I gave it 4.5. I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I like that they stayed original. They didn't try to go fancy, but like even too, like when Doc Ock was touched by those nano technology, and then it shifted onto his tentacles or whatever they're called, arms, and then it was that red. Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't big, but it was enough to be like, this is different. And then now obviously Spider-Man had control of them, which I thought was kind of cheesy, but it is what it is.
That was cheesy. I agree. Yeah.
So again,
it made sense to the story.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Doctor Strange, I think he had a University of Columbia, which is actually where his character went to college. Doctor Strange. So there's
as the doctor, right?
Continuity there. But it was super relaxed, which Doctor Strange's character to me is like, obviously he's this high intellect, but at the same time he's super aloof.
Mm-hmm.
So really enjoyed that. So there wouldn't be costume design. There really wouldn't be much I would change, and it was cool that again, Peter #1, Tom Holland created the vibrant costume that I think it did stand out. Like it's not a red dress, but it's definitely shinier than what he was wearing before.
Yeah, totally. Music, score. However you want we say it. Score the score.
Score the music. I enjoyed it. I think...
You're the music man.
Well... So we did this when we did Spider-Man 2, clumped together. And I actually had a hard time. I had to listen to the soundtrack. For whatever reason, was not paying attention to the soundtrack during the movie. But there's a very clear theme for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which I think is important for any superhero to have. I think that's, for me, what's fun about superhero films is a lot of them have their unique films. So I liked that it was a more playful, it's the do-do-do-do-do-doon, which is a more playful tune. It's not super obnoxious. So I gave it a 4.2. It tied the music together very well, sucked you into the movie further, which is probably why I wasn't able to, didn't listen to it all that much.
Yeah.
It was done by Michael Giacchino, who also did the...
Gesundheit.
Thank you. He did Up, which I like the Up soundtrack, and Coco, which is basically a musical, and Star.
I didn't look him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll trust you on that. But so you know what I liked the best about the score in this film?
What?
Is when there was no music. None. Here's why. There's a lot of times there was moments in this film that were very high emotion moments, not good emotion, but high, like real, they really got you.
Yeah.
And there was intimate conversation between the Parkers, the three Parkers.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no music.
Yeah, which is perfect.
And a lot of times they're like trying to like
the slaps, violin music in the back.
And it's a little distracting.
Yeah.
But those moments of silence, no music in there, and then they had, as actors, they had moments of silence that were, those long pauses, which is really rare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is perfect.
Right.
Whoever decided to do the music for this, they didn't try to like overdo it and say, hey, I'm going to show how good of music I can have on all the scenes.
That's right.
They took these emotional scenes and they removed the music altogether. And that was brilliant for me.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because that's really rare as far as I've noticed.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
No.
Especially the quiet times, there's always that little bit of, what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really good. I really ratcheted my score up because of that specifically, because there's a lot of thought involved in it. There's a lot of thought into it. Then
part was intentionality of what's being done, what's not being done.
Exactly. So 4.7.
Cool. Okay.
I knew you would like that for music.
Yeah, I know. But it brought me another spoiler. We're talking about emotional times.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. That was huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel.
I think
about
I'm going to tear up just right now.
Yeah.
Not really, but
I knew immediately as that was being said that Aunt May was a goner.
Yep.
And I still don't know. I understand it, but I don't understand it all at the same time.
Yeah, I understand it. Couple reasons for me is like Marisa Tomei, how do you say her name?
Yeah.
Her time is done there as that character, I think.
Yeah.
I just think she's spent.
Yeah.
Not her personally, but that character.
Yeah.
And that's really common in all the other story arcs.
Right.
So there was just no place, she's clearly emotionally unavailable for a long-term relationship, I suppose you call it.
Right.
And so if you can't have something like that, your time is kind of done. Yeah. And they wrote it that way clearly.
Yeah.
But that made sense. And that is one of the reasons why at the beginning of this podcast I said Tom Holland's character kind of came of age because he really understood that. Yeah. Tony Stark was really good to him and all those kinds of things. That's great. Yeah. But this was right. Yeah. This is real.
Yeah.
So that to me was really important for them to do.
Yeah. I could talk about this movie for so long.
Oh, yeah, we could.
Oh, my gosh.
Overall entertainment value for you, good sir.
I gave it a 4.9.
We're tied.
Man, it was so good.
No, wait, I have a 2.9.
Oh, that's about more accurate. Yeah, I thought it was an incredibly well done and masterfully referenced the originals while bringing new ideas.
Yes.
Which is very hard to do. Because you are playing with people's, for me, I have certain expectations out of Tobey Maguire. Like, what would have happened if they just completely butchered that?
Yes.
Or Andrew Garfield.
I think you could definitely see where each character, you talked about Willem Dafoe's character, Green Goblin, how he was so involved with it.
Yeah.
I think you could see that in all of them.
Oh my gosh. It made me just emotional looking at how Toby and Andrew interacted. I mean, when Toby gets spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Stabbed. Don't worry, he doesn't die. But he gets stabbed and then they're right there with each other. Like Andrew's like, don't worry, I got him. You got to do what you got to go with Doctor Strange and we'll take care of what we have here. And guys, I just love you.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling. I don't know if there's words for it. And they're like, yeah, we know, we're you.
Yeah.
But at the same point, it was so cool because they were all different.
Yes.
They're all the same character. They have very, very similar personalities, but they're also very different.
Yes.
And they play off Spider-Man. The first one, his webs came out naturally out of his wrist.
Yes.
The other ones have to do these web shooters.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah,
I mean, they really, really nailed it. This is a Avengers quality level.
Well, even just it's absolutely Avengers size. The actors they brought together. They did it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's all that needs to be said about this. Is they did it.
Yeah. I was in film throughout the film. I thought several times. I'm like, you could, for a lot of generations, not a lot of generations, for a couple of generations, this is an easy film.
Yeah.
Super, super easy.
Yeah.
One is my generation.
Right.
One is your generation. Yeah. And that's really, really slick, easy, sold. But they did such a great job with it that you could take, 10-year-old or whatever. I mean, maybe it's a little spicy dark, for a 10-year-old, but you can take the kids.
But how cool was it that the idea of the movie is that we have all these villains from different multiverses that they're bad guys, but really there's just something that switched, like Doc Ock, the Thing, outbursts, so then the tentacles were taking over. Or Electro, he got electrocuted and didn't really know what was going on anymore.
We could literally do a podcast just talking about the how this is promoting good social environment.
Yeah, people are broken.
Yeah,
but you got to see past that. And how can we work with them as people to become better?
Yeah, and they did a great job of bringing it up to a certain point, and you're thinking, okay, they're gonna bail on them now.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, they're bringing them. You know,
right?
And that was really brilliant. So, like I say, we could literally probably do 30 minutes on just that
minimum.
Yeah. So I'm thinking throughout it, all these generations, R2 is easy because we're 2 generations. I know I look really
we went over this. We're both 21.
I mean, I look your age, but no. And then the kids.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, my parents.
It's such a film.
It's everybody, literally, if you're alive, pretty much,
I'll watch it.
You could watch it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good.
So good.
My overall rating, tallying everything up with this, is a 4.6 on it, and I.
Oh, is that because of your cinematography you brought it down? Because you do the averages, don't you?
Yeah, I do the averages.
Yeah.
That's how I work it.
I'm emotionally driven.
Yeah, I know.
That's too much math. We already went over the whole multiverse. Math is not my thing. I think it's cool, but I don't understand in the slightest. I give it a 4.7.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. What would you rate it if you're watching or listening?
Yeah, tell us we're wrong. Or tell us we're right.
We don't have to be divisive.
That's true. I'm sorry.
I'm right, he's wrong.
Disagree with us, please.
This was a blast, as always. I don't know, man. I am totally into the MCU again.
Yeah. And it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
There's whole channels devoted to the MCU. I'm talking
well, because there's 29 film, or was it 20? Is it 27, 20? I don't know what they're on.
Yeah, it's pushing 30.
But it's about at 30.
Yeah.
You got these TV shows. Even if you just don't do MCU, you have, when I was a kid, I watched The Amazing Spider-Man, or the Spider-Man and Friends, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
You could have 5 channels play different things. You'd go a whole week without repeating anything.
Right. Yeah, it's wild. I love it. It's fun.
Spider-Man does whatever Spider-Man does.
Okay, so I'll see you later, huh? I'll give you a call.
So it's done.
It's done.